What is up? Podcast 27, I believe this is, and it's a special one. Eric is not here, but Danny is here, so this is going to be a lot of fun. Danny, this is your second podcast with us?
Yes.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Yeah, how's training coming?
Training is going really well. I'm really enjoying it, having so much fun with all of our clients.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
It's fun to train, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, today we are going to talk about why vegan. And we picked this topic because I'm approaching now my, fifth month vegan. And, everyone's asking me how I feel, why did I do it, this and that. So we decided that we are going to shoot a podcast about why vegan. So, yeah, let's get started. So what does it mean to go vegan? I'll ask you because now you're pescatarian, right?
Yeah, so I'm pescatarian. I still eat fish. I eat dairy products. I eat eggs, things like that. But I will say when I cook for myself, it's 90% no dairy. I am a big egg person. I feel like I like eggs.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely cook a lot of vegan stuff and definitely on the vegan train. All for it.
Yeah. So actually when I started, I was keto. My weight loss started from doing keto, so it's like the opposite of vegan.
Yeah.
I was eating a lot of meat, and then slowly I transitioned into more pescatarian and still eating eggs, and I did that for about a year, and then I switched to vegan.
Yeah, I feel like that's what's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
Because I ate meat my whole life, and then I slowly was just eating it on the weekends, and then I went right to pescatarian. But I feel like that is going to happen to me eventually.
Right.
But let's talk about what vegan actually is.
Yeah.
And so our listeners aren't confused.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's the difference? What's the difference between vegan and vegetarian? Some people don't.
That's a huge struggle understanding the two. For most people, when you're vegan, you absolutely eat nothing that comes from an animal product. So dairy, you get milk from cows, cheese from cows. You don't eat any eggs. Those come from chickens. Absolutely nothing that comes from an animal. And actually, most vegans claim that they don't eat honey as well, which also comes from bees.
Because it comes from bees, right?
Yes.
Right.
I think I've met one vegan that was like, I do eat honey, but
right.
If you're true strict vegan, honey is off the table.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's vegan. Vegetarians they'll eat cheese, they'll eat eggs, dairy, all that kind of stuff. So why did you transform to the vegan life?
I mean, like I said, it was a slow process from eating meat and low carb to kind of at one point I hit a point where I was just like, I'm kind of sick of eating chicken and beef all the time. Mm-hmm. So I just slowly cut it out and just ate fish and sweet potatoes and eggs. So I was more pescatarian. And then one day I went to a restaurant and ate fish and I felt heavy after it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel heavy after eating a sea bass. Mm-hmm. Let me just try not eating fish either. So I went vegetarian for a little while. And then I signed up for my ayahuasca retreat. Mm-hmm. And there's preparation for that. They don't want you to drink alcohol before. They don't want you to drink coffee because all of that could affect. They recommend no animal products. So basically go vegan 2 weeks before the trip. Okay. And I was like, well, all right, no problem. I'm already vegetarian. Right. This shouldn't be hard. And I did it. So 2 weeks before going to ayahuasca, I was already a vegan, I guess, for those 2 weeks. I don't know if I intended to stay vegan after I came back, but I believe the seed was kind of planted, maybe. Why not? Okay. Then when I went to ayahuasca, and then I talk about, my full journey in one of our podcasts, the Ayahuasca Part 2 podcast, where I just felt so connected to the planet. And I kind of had a spiritual awakening of how connected we all are to not just ourselves, but to animals. And the people around me were kind of going through some pain and purging, and I felt that it was because they were eating unhealthy. Like I could feel that it was like, this guy next to me, I can tell he's eating meat, and I could feel like he was struggling from it. And that's what ayahuasca does. It really increases your senses, and I just felt it. I felt it, and after that trip, I was like, you know what? I don't even want to eat any animal products or animals. They just don't appeal to me. I just don't want to do it. It was kind of like a spiritual awakening. I know the health benefits, and we're going to go into the health benefits here, but I just decided I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a really like well-rounded, full circle kind of transition for you. It wasn't just like, I just care about the environment, or I just want to be healthier. It was like really, really cool to. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, thank you. It was health reasons and spiritual reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, the health benefits alone of going vegan are amazing. I mean, here we'll list some of them. I mean, we did the research, and just by going vegan, you have like a 75% chance, or you'll lower your blood pressure by up to 75%.
Yeah.
Along with blood sugar, lower levels of cholesterol. Heart disease goes down by 46%. Type 2 diabetes goes down. I mean, there's so many benefits. The list goes on and on and on. I mean, you get so many nutrients from vegan and plant. More fiber, antioxidants, potassium, magnesium, folate. And it protects from, certain cancers. And not to mention it can help you lose weight. So there's tons of benefits from going vegan. So, and this podcast is not in any ways to, hey, you should go vegan. It's just my story, and maybe it relates to someone, and who knows? We're just here for the information, right?
Yeah, just want to educate everyone and open up some possibilities so that people can recognize that there are different things and different approaches that they can take. Because, I mean, even me, I'm not completely vegan. I'm not going to sit here and claim to be vegan by any means, but it's always been something in the back of my mind that I'm like, I think one day I might try and be vegan, but it's really hard to take that transition. And like, I mean, any sort of life choices that you make to make changes, like, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just opening up the possibility of being vegan and educating people a little bit more about it.
Right. And you mentioned about the environment.
Yeah.
So what are some of the cool things that we did research on for the environment?
I feel like this topic, like, I love it so much. Because
Sure.
I'm just like, I don't know, call me a hippie or whatever, but I love the environment.
Okay, we'll call you a hippie.
But that's one of the reasons why I kind of slowed down with my meat intake and eventually cutting it out. Factory farming it's foul in my brain. Unfortunately, like, it leads to so many bad things for the environment, causes climate change, it increases greenhouse gas emissions, pollutes our air quality, and it's just bad for the environment, which makes it bad for humans.
Right.
Like, we are the ones living on it.
Mm-hmm.
For starters, going vegan can help conserve water. So to feed cows, we obviously have to grow crops for them. We're using water to grow crops or grains, which I think 90%, don't quote me on that. A majority of cows in the factories eat grains, which aren't particularly healthy for them.
Which means it's not healthy for us, right?
Exactly.
Because we're eating what the cow eats.
Yes. Yeah. You want cows to graze and be pasture raised, but
right.
Unfortunately
not
that's
everything,
not the case.
right? Because there's just not enough territory for that.
But we're using water to grow the crops for the animals to eat and then consuming the animals. But imagine if we were to just take that middleman out. Imagine if we just use the water to grow crops for us to eat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you would save so much water. And there's so many people that don't have access to water. 783 million people worldwide don't have access to clean drinking water. And we're using nearly a third of that to supply it for crops, which is insane to me. And then on top of that, the livestock's like fecal matter and all that. It's polluting water streams. It's polluting anything that's near the factories, and that ultimately is hurting the communities around it. There's so many communities around factory farms that can't drink their water. They can't use even their water to shower. Like, it's awful.
And we're doing this to ourselves, basically, because we decided, hey, we're going to eat meat, and we farm raise them. It comes back into us, and that's why we're getting sick.
Yeah.
It's like this
and
karma.
Not to mention, we are pumping antibiotics and GMOs into these animals. We're shortening their lifespan.
Right.
We're stressing them out. We're containing them to small cages. And some of these animals, their feet never even touch the ground.
Wow.
Which
so,
is
yeah,
insane.
and there's a big difference between, let's say you live in Alaska and you hunt your moose and you have a connection with it, and this is a free roaming animal, and you eat the meat in portions versus farming it and all this like non-natural process.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're hunting animals, that animal got to survive in the wilderness where it was naturally supposed to be for its life. I mean, you're going to have high quality meat.
So you're killing a happy animal, therefore.
Yeah, and there's that connection, like you said.
There's that connection, yeah. Yeah, and we lost that connection, and there's definitely something to that.
Right.
Sure.
I've talked a lot about where meat comes from to people, and they always tell me, no, please stop. Don't tell me anymore. I don't want to know. And I think that is part of the problem, is that disconnection. It's like, no, you should know where this is coming from. You should know the type of meat you're putting in your body. You're eating this distressed animal that had a 3-year lifespan, and is like, why do you want to eat a stressed out animal?
So maybe that could be the reason why so many of us are stressed, because we're taking on what we eat, literally.
Yeah, I do think there is some sort of connection there. And I don't know, when I cut meat out of my diet, my body was like, huge relief.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, what else? I mean, I could talk about the environment for forever, but
no, it's a big thing. I mean, listen, we have one Earth that we're living on, and we're destroying it.
Yeah,
we're destroying it, and who's going to pay for all this destruction is our kids and their kids and their kids.
Yeah.
So there is this whole karmic, cycle that is happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about greenhouse gases. So actually, people think, driving in a car, that's creating greenhouse gas.
Right.
That is causing greenhouse emissions. But livestock causes more air pollution than cars, buses, planes, trains, and other transportation in the world combined.
See, that's insane. And I remember hearing this when I was doing keto, and I, like everyone else, I turned my head to it, and I was like, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
And the mind is so powerful that if you tell it that it's not true for you.
Yeah.
And you're blinded to all this. But it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it's one of the leading causes. And also, when we have factory farms, we're doing a lot of deforestation. So we're cutting down mass amounts of trees at a time. Trees are so vital to our planet and our environment.
Like oxygen. So we're cutting out our oxygen. We're basically constricting ourselves by doing this.
Exactly.
Why are we doing this?
I don't know. The trees are there to help. They're pulling all of the carbon out of the air, and they're clearing the air. They're taking the pollution so that we don't have to breathe it in. And we're just like cutting trees down like it's no big deal. They'll grow back.
Is it because we're just like conditioned for like short-term gratification and not understanding that the long-term run on things?
Possibly. Again, I think it's just like turning your head in the other direction and having a blind eye. And deciding not to actually look at it. And like, it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of a good metaphor, but it just goes back to, if you don't see it, then it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's a lot of what people think. If they don't see it, it doesn't exist.
Right, and it does.
Yeah.
It does exist.
If it's not part of their life.
And where it exists, where people can see is on their health.
Yeah.
And again, we're not saying that you shouldn't eat meat at all. It's just be mindful. Where does your meat come from? How much meat are you eating? And could you take a couple weeks off and not eat meat and see how you feel?
Right, for sure. Even do a meatless Monday.
Meatless Monday.
Or try going through the week with only eating meat for dinner instead of for breakfast and lunch.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, there's tons of good food. I mean, again, I've been vegan for now over 5 months, and there's tons of good food you can eat,
Yeah.
right? Like tofu, tempeh, edamame, lentils, nuts.
Yeah, and they're all super nutritious. They're so good for you.
Right.
So good for you. Yeah, and I think it's really important for our listeners to be mindful in the grocery store. Even if you are going to buy meat, being mindful of where it came from. Was it pasture raised? Is it non-GMO? Is it organic? Again, labels can be very misleading, but taking that approach in the grocery store is one step that you can, baby step forward that you
Baby
can
step
take.
forward. Yeah, no, for sure. It's a great step. And I know one of my biggest challenges was, just even going out to eat.
Yeah.
Because, we're not yet, we haven't turned the knob where all these restaurants are offering vegan options.
Right.
So it's definitely a challenge. But it's not that it can't be done.
Absolutely. For sure. But it sounds like health-wise you've benefited a lot from going vegan.
Yeah.
How else do you feel like you've benefited from it?
I mean, number one, I feel great. My mind is clear. I have more clarity. My energy is higher. My gut feels good. I mean, everything is on a heightened level.
Yeah.
It really is. And I don't have those meals where I overate and I feel tired and sluggish. That doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
So, tons of benefits.
For sure.
What about for you? I know, again, you're not vegan, but pescatarian, and you weren't pescatarian. How long have you been pescatarian?
Since January of 2021.
Okay, so
almost
that's
a whole year.
Yeah. So what changes have you noticed by switching?
So I struggled with IBS and a lot of gut issues when I first decided to make that transition, and it changed my health and my perspective on my body and everything. Like, I feel like it eased all of the pain from IBS. I feel like I'm never bloated. I'm never sluggish, like you said, after meals. My energy is higher. When I first started, I just did vegetarian and I had no idea what I was doing. So for like 2 weeks, I was straight vegetarian. I wasn't eating anything. Like, I was like, I don't know what to eat, and no one really educated me on it. And everybody in my family, my friends, everybody eats meat. So this was like so new to me. And I think I lost like 10 pounds. I don't have 10 pounds to lose. So that's why I ended up going back to fish, because I was like, I think I need more. I don't know. But yeah, I after that 2-week period, I felt so much better. And I didn't even crave meat, which was the craziest thing. I mean, I worked in restaurants, and my mom is always cooking, and even like meat things, lemon chicken and chicken paprikash and burgers. And I would come home, she'd be cooking, I'm like, it smells good, but I'm not craving it. Like,
Right.
I don't need it.
Totally agree with that. I mean, again, someone who ate meat his whole life and did keto, and when I made the transition, people were like, how are you never going to eat meat? How are you never going to eat meat? And then for a birthday party, I went out, a bunch of people, to Red Steakhouse. Everyone is eating, steak, and there's no cravings. It's just, it's a slow switch. Your body and mind adapt to it, and it makes it easier.
Yeah. Yeah, I think to feel these benefits, we just have to be mindful about how we go vegan. And I think that's what was my struggle, was I was just like, I'm just not eating meat, and I didn't know what to eat. But we have a list of really good things that we can eat for substitutes, and so you can still get the proper nutrition and all that good stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I did list some of them. Talk about some of the like higher energy foods that you can still get from being vegan.
Yeah. Well, one of my go-tos, I know I'm not completely vegan, but one of my go-tos is avocados. Avocados are so, so good for you. They taste delicious. I mean, you can season them with whatever you want. You can put red chili peppers. I do lemon on mine. Um, Bananas, coconuts. I do a lot of coconut chips or even using coconut oil for a substitute instead of like vegetable oil, all that stuff. Olive oil is good as well. But yeah, hummus, nuts, beans, lentils, whole grains, all of that stuff is going to help with your energy and give you protein as well. There are good protein substitutes for stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, one of my go-tos is a plant protein powder made by KOS. No affiliation to them, but I'll shout them out anytime
You
because
love them.
literally I love their stuff. They have different flavors, and they put all of the vitamins and minerals that you don't necessarily get from plants. They put it in there as well. So
Yeah.
people worry about, well, I'm not going to get enough iron or B12, but no, it comes in there.
Calcium.
So yep,
Yeah.
calcium. So it's really not that hard. It's not as hard as it seems. And again, it's just really about, doing the research, going out there, educating yourself, read
Yeah.
some articles, like you said, pay attention in the grocery store, and just start slowly.
Yeah. And there's so many great supplements and vitamins that you can take. If you're allergic to nuts or whatever, you can still get the nutrition that you need from certain foods from really great supplements and everything. So, yeah, but I think even if you aren't vegan, vitamin supplements are always a good thing.
Yep.
So,
Cool.
yeah. What else? How do people start to make the shift over to becoming vegan?
One day at a time.
Yeah.
No, like we mentioned, do the research and educate yourself and play around with different things and see how your body responds, and then find support. I say that would be the best thing to do.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. I agree. I think I lacked in support when I first started to go over,
Yeah.
for sure. But yeah, educate yourself, find support, and really pay attention at the grocery store.
Yep, for sure.
Even if you're still buying meat, buy from local farms or whatever. There's a lot of good local farms out near Ohio, Northeast Ohio. I mean, they're probably a 30 to 60-minute drive, but totally worth it. And you can buy in bulk and whatever.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So yeah, just some information from us on the vegan stuff, and let's do another one in 3 to 4 months and see where we're both at.
Yeah.
See where you're at.
Yeah, for sure. Do you want to talk about any of the misconceptions of being
Sure,
vegan?
go ahead.
Okay, cool. So I think there's a lot of stereotypes behind being vegan and just misconceptions in general. And I actually had one the other day with you. I was like, it's so expensive to shop vegan. To buy vegan cheese is like $10 for a pack of vegan cheese. Maybe one day I want to make a vegan pizza.
Yeah.
But as I was researching more, it was talking a lot about how meat and cheese are actually the most expensive thing that you typically buy at the grocery store. So once you stop buying those things, it tends to actually even out, and then vegetables, grains, pasta, all of the good stuff that you should be eating in your vegan diet is all on the cheaper end of the spectrum.
Absolutely.
So it's really actually not that expensive, and it was kind of cool to have that perspective and then go in and research and be proven wrong. I was like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yep.
And a lot of people think you can't be muscular. I mean, look at Jeremy. Everyone's
I have not lost any muscle since going vegan. If anything, I think I gained a little bit, so
yeah.
I don't think that's true at all.
Yeah, you can get so much protein from being vegan, and people are just like, how do you get muscular if you're eating vegetables? Like, it's possible.
Definitely.
Eat oats and quinoa and beans and lentils.
For sure.
And then I think another good misconception is people think vegan food is gross, or that you just eat salad.
Yep, not true.
So not true. You can spice
Just
things
spice it up. Yeah, we said it. Just spice it up. Mix
Spice
it up
it
with
up.
different sauces, and
There's
you're
herbs, there's
Herbs,
spices,
yep.
sauces, all that good stuff. And you can still have cheat days. Fun fact, Oreos are vegan.
good. Really?
Oreos are
Oh,
vegan.
shoot. I might have to switch. Get some Oreos.
When you want a cheat day, Oreos and peanut butter all day. But yeah, there's vegan ice cream, and you can do things if you're like trying to have your cheat day and eat something that's not as good for you. So yeah,
Awesome.
so many good things.
So many good things.
Vegan life is a good life.
It really is.
I'll make it there one day.
We'll see how it goes. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening, and we will be back later.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.